back at the train room here, and as you can see, I've got some plaster cloth. I purchased this off of eBay, and you get 10 rolls, 4 inches wide, 15 feet long. And I think I paid about $25 for that, and I believe that there was another maybe $10 shipping, so probably $35. That would be equivalent to, I guess, 5 rolls of normal plaster cloth, because I think the normal stuff is like 8 inches wide. Maybe it's 10, but I'm not sure that it's 15 feet long. So anyway, there it is. I didn't do the unboxing because, you know, it's plaster cloth, it's in a box. So there it is. Another thing that I had thought about, actually, after I made the last video, is that I have this Milton Corporation building that is still in the package. I had forgotten about this, and I definitely want to use this building on the layout here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this building and the longer building there with the Milton Corporation. My understanding is that the way this building is put together, you can rearrange the components pretty much any way you like. So I may, instead of having it in a T shape, if it's possible, I may build it all, you know, kind of in a row, so to speak, putting this piece maybe at the back on this side, stretching out this way. And I know with the Pike Stuff buildings, you can pretty much put doors wherever you want them. And I'm thinking that may work out better. I'm still going to keep the lumber shed, because I think that is obviously it's a good thing to have in a lumber yard, is a lumber shed. And I think this will look better. I'm going to paint it something other than blue and white. I may still go with a white roof, but I'll paint the side something other than blue. And go ahead and use that. It's going to afford me, I think, some better options for having a wood chip loading facility. The top section here, you know, has already got some piping coming out. I think I can probably modify how that comes out and redirect it into a loading type of facility that I could put over the tracks there where you see the wood chip cars. So I think what I'm going to do tonight is maybe paint this building. So if I get to that, I'll show you the results there, what I decide to do. So I'm definitely going to take these 2 structures off of here. They would make good background buildings, but I really don't have anywhere to put them. As most of my track is towards the back side of the layout here. You know, it might be a little bit on there, but you know, that would be up against the cliff. You know, and over here, I kind of decided to do that elevated country church scene. So anyway, I think those may be into the scrap bin, just in case I decide, you know, sometime down the road to try and do some scrap building. So anyway, and I think over here, this building is probably going to go into the scrap bin as well. I don't really like it. It's very hard to configure on the layout because of the way it has an elevated section here for a loading dock, and then it's got, you know, a big overhead door here, and then a smaller loading dock height door here. It's just hard to arrange that, at least in my experience. In this layout, the old layout, I can never really get it to look right. So what I may do is, I had talked about the other night putting a curved turnout off of this area here, coming around into my lumber yard. What I may do is somewhere in this area here, maybe put in a turnout that comes back this way, and put in a little scrap yard here. I kind of always wanted to do a scrap yard, and I think this might be a good place for it. You know, kind of tucked away here off the end of the layout, and I could actually, I think, put a road in, maybe to come back here, and maybe go back and cross in front of the grain silos there, and then off into the backdrop. So I'm going to see how that works out. If it doesn't work out, you know, it doesn't work out. I may not have to put anything there. Could be a spot for a nice little hill with some trees, but who knows? You know, we'll let something grow from there as we progress. But anyway, tonight what I'm going to do, as I said, was try and paint that building. I'm going to finish putting in front of the riser here newsprint and tape it into place, so I can have a transition from the top down to the bottom there that's not, you know, like a 90-degree drop off, and then also down around this side of the layout as well. I've just been, you know, kind of thinking that I may change, you know, my plan here, where I was going to have this turnout and start into the intermodal yard. What I may do is come a little bit further around here where the back straight begins and put a turnout there and one at the other end here, and just put in a passing siding, which would also serve as access to some industries here, just those couple little buildings down there. And I may, you know, I don't know, I may shift this little loading dock to this side, or buy some more loading dock stuff and put it over here. But we'll kind of see how it develops, and then still start this turnout here to come into the intermodal yard, and maybe make a 2-track intermodal yard, which you know, I could then come down. If these are here, I may have to stub end the intermodal yard somewhere in here. So anyway, that's the thought process now. Still want to incorporate my engine facility down there, but as we get some of the tracks laid in, we'll kind of see how that goes. I've got a little bit of space back in here where this track is laying now, so I could conceivably you know, possibly move these back here and not have any loading docks, you know, just have them up close enough to the track that, you know, any kind of unloading could be done without the loading dock in front. But you know, I'm thinking out loud here, and I'm wasting time. So anyway, just wanted to give you an update. I do have the plaster cloth, and I'm going to paint the Milton A Corporation, take these buildings off the layout. So I'll stop for now. If I don't get any additional work done tonight, I may just post this update. If not, there'll be a continuation. So a little painting here out in the garage, and these are the components for the Milton A building. And what I've done right now is I've got the top half of the panels painted in sort of a sand color, I guess, and the bottom part that you see that's blue now, I'm going to paint in a little bit darker tan. It's this the Rust-Oleum camouflage color here. They don't really tell you what color it is, but it's darker than what's on there right now. So I'm going to paint the bottom half of that in this darker color, just to give it a little definition between the top and the bottom of the buildings. I can't do that tonight because first of all, I want to make sure that the paint that's on there is cured, and secondly, I want to get some of that frog tape that's, I think it's called Gentle or something, so I don't pull off any of the paint that's already on there. So I'm going to have to go grab some of that tomorrow night. So what you're seeing here are the parts to the main building. Those 4 pieces at the top fit together like this and make the ends of the building. So I'm guessing that's probably 8 or 9 inches across there. There are cutouts, potential cutouts on the back for car height doors here on the right side. So I've got the option here of actually cutting a car height door on both sides and running 2 tracks in there inside the building. And my thought originally was to go ahead and cut doors on both sides. One side could be for the center beam flat cars to go in, bulkhead flat cars, that kind of thing. And the other side could be for the box cars, the lumber box cars. So just give me your input on that. I can either run tracks in one side or tracks in both sides. It's going to be, so that's, I don't know what that is. I think it's 8.5, 9 inches. And then there'll be 4 of these panels, actually 5 of these panels on each side. There's only 4 of them here, and I've got 2 more of them sitting down there. So there'll be, each of these is, I don't know, it's somewhere around 2.5 inches maybe. So I guess that's going to be around 12 inches long on the sides as I'm filming the floor. So about 12 inches long, about 8 inches wide, and then on butting up against, well, I guess I've just answered my question. As far as having two doors, my other option is out of these parts that are here is to create a small truck loading warehouse. And what I can do there is I can butt this up against the one end of the building and have it extend down lengthwise off the end of the building here. And then what I could do is have truck loading bays on one side of this, and then the cars would be passing through along the back side, the railroad cars. So just a couple of options there. I could make the warehouse piece a completely separate building and have truck loading bays on both sides. So I could have 4 loading bays, 2 on each side, or I could decide to go ahead and use 6 panels there, and I could have 3 loading bays on each side and make this one just this length here for the main building. So lots of ways to configure it. These panels are all painted the same, so they'll be easy to interchange. And so anyway, just wanted to give you an update. That's what I've done tonight. I'm going to go upstairs now and probably set some more of the newsprint around. So when I finish that, I'll come back. This is another set of components in the Milton A Corporation building set. What I'm going to do here is try my hand at kit bashing. So I had enough components left over to do a building which is probably 4 inches wide and maybe 5 inches deep, and it's probably, I don't know, 3 inches high. I'm going to try and make a Woodchip loading bin or facility out of this. Elevate it up on some stilts and have it sitting over the track and have it connected to that other larger building with a pipe, and have a couple of pipes or chutes coming out of the bottom of this. Obviously I'll have to put a floor in it. and elevate it over a track so I can back my woodchip cars under it. So, this is a really neat kit, and I got this thing for, I think it was $20 at a train show almost a year ago now. But there's an annual show that a local church holds as a fundraiser, and there was a guy there that had this building and a couple of other cars that I purchased, and I, for the life of me, don't remember what they were at this point. But so, you know, and I had the building, you know, stored away, and completely forgot that I had it. So, additionally on here, if you remember from the first part of the video, those lumber buildings that are, you know, were meant to be background buildings, they have metal corrugated roofs on them. And I thought what I might do is cut those roofs. There are straight lines down the roofs, which, I don't know, probably would be about a 6-foot wide panel. And I'm going to cut those and use them for walkways here in front of the door and window, probably down the side, and I may purchase some fire escapes to just make a way to get into the building here, you know, if need be. So the roof is going to be white. At least that's my plan right now. I'm going to use a white roof on here. And the kit also comes with some roofing details, so it'll be nice to be able to put those in and you know, have a slightly detailed model. But you know, I think it's going to look pretty good. You know, it's a little bit wider than like a coal loading bin would be, but this, you know, at least in my mind, it's going to have some machinery in it, something to pump the sawdust either from the building, from the lumber building into this building, and then into the cars, or, you know, at least that's my theory. I'm sticking to it. So I've got a door and a window cut in the side, and I'm just going to leave those white. So, you know, they'll show up fairly well. But anyway, just wanted to give you a shot at that. And all right, so back in the train room, I've completed the installation of the newsprint. And, you know, it looks pretty rough right now, but what happens when you lay the plaster cloth over this stuff is obviously the paper gets wet, and it will tend to push down a little bit. You know, it gets wet and it shrinks, and yeah, you know, it looks like it's fairly close to the track here, but you know, that'll all collapse down with the weight of the plaster cloth and the weight of the water on there. So I've got it done around here behind the town. I don't know where the tunnel is going to end. I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere in here. So I don't want to, I'll probably just put one more piece of newsprint right there, and then end my tunnel there. You know, and then over here, what I may do is try and make more, you know, carved foam mountainside, more of a rocky terrain over here than what this is going to be. What you can do, obviously, here is once you get the plaster cloth on, you can stick rock molds in there, you know, hydrocal stuff, or what I'm actually going to do, and I did this in one spot on the other layout, is I used real rock for my rock. You know, it's cheap. It's laying around the neighborhood. As I said, they're starting construction around here, so there's plenty of rock available. I may go out and try and collect a few. For sure, what I'm going to do up there behind the coal mine is use real rock along the wall. You know, at least down the side. I don't know if I'm going to have enough room behind it. But at least on that back wall, I'm going to use some real rock outcroppings. So it looks like the coal mine is actually, you know, it's got a conveyor drilled into the side of the rock mountain. So I'll do that there. I'm going to try and use foam here. I'll place some rocks in and around the hillsides here in places. I've still got to finish up right around the bridge. I want to try and get that done tonight, just with some small pieces of paper between the end of the bridge and the end of the riser there. So I'm going to do that. I've got this ridge with paper, top and bottom. And then I think from here down, since it's fairly short, it's about 1.5 inches there, I'll probably just drape the plaster cloth down there and into a gentle slope, rather than trying to put paper under it. At least that's what I think. We'll see how it turns out. If it looks awful, I'll put some paper under it. And then back here where the church is going to be, I'm going to do that out of foam. I saw another pile of foam laying in the neighborhood, so I'm going to go out and try and see if I can't get that now before it goes in the dumpster. So I'll carve a hillside back over here. And over here, this is my little work site tonight where I was working on the Milton A building. So I think that's about it for tonight. I know this is kind of dragging on, but just wanted to give you a progress update. I know I've received some comments that folks kind of like to see and hear the thought process as I go through this, because I don't waste a lot of time planning. I don't have a lot of free time given my work schedule and family commitments. So I just get a couple of hours of free time in the evening, and I head to the train room and I start in. That may drive some folks crazy, but it's kind of the only way I can operate. If I spent time planning all this out ahead of time, I'd never get started on it. So, and there's nothing really that I'm doing here that can't be changed. It's not cast in stone, so to speak. So even though I'm going to have real rocks, even I can even take those off and get rid of them. So anyway, as I said earlier, the plaster cloth has arrived. So I'm hoping to have some free time tomorrow evening. Maybe I'll start laying some of that up in this area. I don't want to get too close to the coal mine yet, because I want to finish off the foam. Obviously I don't want it to be blue, so I want to paint the underlayment there, probably black or gray, a dark gray, and just to kind of get it into a state where I can put the plaster cloth down and not have to worry about reaching over that to paint it. So that's my plan for this evening. As I say, my plans change by the minute. So thanks for all the new subscribers. I think I've picked up maybe a half a dozen or so this week, and I appreciate that. It's obviously for some folks I'm doing something right, and I appreciate your watching and all the support and comments. So hang in there, and hopefully maybe if not tomorrow, the day after, we'll have another update. Thanks for watching.